Mr. Rammel or Wood, do you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
The state rests then. Mr. Pryor, do you desire to call any witnesses?
There'll be no presentation today, Your Honor. Thank you.
Do the parties wish to make closing arguments?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Wood or Mr. Rammel will allow you to do so.
Thank you.
If you'll please stand, make sure you pull that microphone close to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm aware this court is very well aware of what the burden of proof is for a preliminary hearing due to the wide audience it reaches. I just point out that Idaho criminal rule states that if the court finds that an offense has been committed and that there is probable or sufficient cause to believe the defendant committed the offense, the court must bind that defendant over to answer in district court. And so, Your Honor, just a brief recap. On November 25th, the Rexburg Police Department was notified of a missing child, J.J. Vallow. The next day, their investigation begins. What they discover in the course of that investigation is that there's another missing child, Tylee Ryan, and they discovered that the last day she's seen is September 8th in Yellowstone National Park. They find evidence that on September 9th, Chad Daybell sent a text to his then wife, Tammy Daybell, at 11:53 in the morning about burning limb debris and burying a raccoon in his pet cemetery. That very same morning, Alex Cox's phone pings in that same area, that pet cemetery area on Chad Daybell's property. On June 9th, Tylee Ryan, who we've identified through DNA, is found buried, burnt, dismembered, portions of her in a green melted bucket, buried with animals in the pet cemetery. Through that investigation, they find that the last known sighting of J.J. Vallow was September 22nd. The last known sighting of J.J. Vallow was September 22nd. Similarly, on September 23rd, Alex Cox's phone pings on Chad Daybell's property. Near those pings where those pings are located on the north side of Chad Daybell's property, on June 9th, JJ is found wrapped in a garbage bag with another white garbage bag wrapped around his head, bound in duct tape. Your Honor, for the court to find probable cause of concealment of a felony, it must find that the evidence concealed would tend to be evidence in a felony proceeding. That's the test given by state law, by case law in State v. Patia and State versus Yuramola. This court, as the finder of fact, is entitled to a reasonable inference based on the state of the bodies of J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, that they were victims of a homicide. This court can also take note of through the evidence presented that both Chad Daybell and his wife Lori Daybell were aware that Lori Vallow Daybell was charged with desertion, 2 felony counts of desertion of a minor child in Madison County. And clearly, the location and welfare of these bodies was evidence in that felony proceeding. Those bodies were concealed. One of them was destroyed. They were located on Chad Daybell's property. Alex Cox, whose phone pinged near those locations, became his brother-in-law less than 2 months later when Chad married Lori Vallow. For the court to find probable cause of conspiracy on these charges, on counts 2 and 4, it must find probable cause of at least one overt act and an agreement. State law in Idaho is very clear through State versus Gallatin and through the Idaho criminal jury instructions that an agreement need not be formal or expressed, but may be inferred from the circumstances, or it may be implied by the conduct of the parties. Both Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow attempted to convince Melanie Gibb to either not cooperate with police or to provide false information to the police. At this point, they were married. In terms of finding probable cause that an overt act was committed, this court watched itself a video of Lori, at this time now, Lori Daybell, telling police officers that J.J. Vallow was in Arizona with Melanie Gibb. And then through a phone call where Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell were present, you heard Lori admit to that when she said she did what she felt the Lord was instructing her to do. Your Honor, for purposes of probable cause, the state has met its burden on all 4 felony counts, both counts of concealment and both counts of conspiracy to conceal. And we'd ask this court bind Mr. Daybell over to answer in district court.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.